The biggest talk in the NBA right now is where in the world is Kevin Durant going to land? Obviously, the Suns saying, like, we are trading you no matter what. And there's been a lot of talk around the league about the teams that are interested, the teams that have the highest chances of landing him. Yeah. And obviously, the media's already said, like, we can go through the teams. Like, the list of teams right now is Rockets, Spurs, Heat, Knicks, and T-Wolves. 5 teams that are talked to highly land Durant.
Off rip, bro, what's the teams that you don't think is even viable?
See, I don't think he's going to the Knicks. I don't think he is. But it'd be interesting because the haul for them would probably have to be a 3-team deal for the Knicks, and then have to give up. This is just the mock trade I'm reading. It's Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson would go to Phoenix, and then another team's in there, but they would land Kevin Durant through the trade.
Yeah, that's not happening. And the only way that it's not happening, that's a media trade. And the only way that happens, to be honest with you, is Kevin Durant has to plead with the Suns, and Matt Nishiba has to pretty much say, "I'll let you go to the Knicks." That's not happening.
I mean, the Spurs are. I mean, not the Spurs. The Suns already came out and said that they're taking the best deal that they can possibly get. So yeah. I don't think that's the best deal they can possibly get. I mean, all these other mock trades, like I see better value in some of these other trades. Like the Heat's mock trade would be Andrew Wiggins, Duncan Robinson, and Miami's 2030 first round pick. Also a no. In my opinion.
So
there's no value there.
The Heat, I disagree. The Heat can make a good trade, actually. They're the only team, one of the only teams that has it, because they didn't trade anything for Damian Lillard. They never made those picks. They never moved those picks out. They haven't moved any of their picks out. They keep trying to trade their picks for a star, and Pat Riley says no every time. Mm-hmm. So at this point, Miami has assets, and people don't see it because they were so shit this year. But they have the sleeper build for a team that can fit with KD. It just comes down to this. Is KD a number one for a championship winner?
At this stage? I mean, given his stats, he had a great year last year. He really did. I think he averaged like 26, 27 a game. Like, that's a great year. Yeah, he had an unbelievable year. He was like 37, 38 years old. Like, yeah. He had a fantastic year. So, I mean, I think he can be, and it's Kevin Durant we're talking about here, so let's be real. Like, he can be a number one. It's just like, do we want him to be a number one at this stage in his career? But if he went to Miami, he would be the number one option.
But you know what, though?
Immediately the number one option.
I buy it. And I know it's like, you're delusional. How could you say KD can be a 1? How could you... I think he's like a 1 to 1B with Tyler Hero, actually. I think Hero and him are going to average almost the same amount of points. Besides that, I also think that that's an elite fit. So Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches by far.
He probably is. No, he's probably the best coach in the NBA.
He might literally be the best coach.
Is, yeah.
And you put him, he's the most intelligent coach, and you put him with Bam, who, by the way, has kind of declined a little bit, but still, Bam, Tyler Hero, other surrounding pieces, they have good pieces. And you wouldn't have to give up a lot. You'd have to give up Andrew Wiggins to meet the salary requirements, Duncan Robinson, who's kind of a bum, and extra draft capital, which you should give up. I actually would do it. Pat Riley's like 80. Like, you're not going to live that much longer.
No, here's the thing. I mean, I would do it if I'm Miami, but if I'm Phoenix, I don't think I'm entertaining it, given the other teams that are on the table.
The only reason they can entertain it is because Wiggins might be the best player they take back in a trade, and I know it sucks.
Well, we haven't even gotten to the Rockets.
And they're going to be able to take back a significant amount of draft capital. That's an option. It's a perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a bad take. Like, if I'm Phoenix, depending on the amount of picks I get, like, could take the trade. It's not a bad trade. But then you talk about the Rockets. The Rockets, like, potential trade targets for KD could be Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, and draft capital.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm
their own draft capital.
Yeah. And they got a ton. They got everything basically there in Houston. So, like,
yeah, literally.
If I'm getting, I predict that Jalen Green's like he's gonna be a star. I think he will be a star. I mean, inconsistent right now, but he's young. You get that young talent. Jabari Smith is kind of unproven, but then you get draft capital with him. Like, that's no brainer. You're getting young talent and you're getting rid of your old star. Like,
for Houston's sake, am telling you, I would not do that trade. Houston should stay away from that. Miami can do that, and they're worse than Houston after that trade. But Miami can do it because they're in such a bad conference, and they're so viable with KD. But honestly, do you think Houston, after trading assets with KD, let's say they keep Jalen Green. They keep Sengun and Green. Sengun, Green, Ime Udoka as their head coach. Is that team really competing in the West?
Well, given the fact that they were a 2 seed this year with that team they have, and then you add KD, I'd probably say yes.
Sans players are losing. You're going to lose players to Phoenix.
Well, but if you're taking out Jalen Green, who are you losing? So Jabari...
They should keep Green. I don't think they would trade
No,
Green.
I don't think they should trade Jalen Green, but like that is a talk.
They wouldn't trade Green for KD.
But like, if you're trading anything, maybe you'd have to dump Fred's contract because it's a big one. That would meet salary requirements. Dylan Brooks, Fred, or like Cam Whitmore for draft like young talent, like maybe someone like that.
Eisen,
yeah, anything like that would work. But like, I wouldn't dump Jalen Green in that trade. I think you lose your future basically. You're getting rid of your future. It's just that wouldn't be a good trade.
If you trade Jalen Green. The Rockets can't be competitive in the West with KD. The Suns couldn't do it with Booker and KD and Ayton. The Rockets will not be competitive with Jalen Green, Sengun, and KD. So I would... For the Suns, though, they want that trade.
So you think the Rockets won't be competitive with Jalen Green, KD, and Sengun?
No.
I think they'd be competitive.
No.
For sure.
They're going to lose players. And honest to God, I've just seen too many situations. KD's the best player on that team. He's the undisputed best player. So... They need him to literally be the best.
But he's probably the undisputed best player on like a lot of these trades.
He is.
Yeah.
But in Miami, it's a shit conference. They're very viable against the rest of the conference. They're super viable against the rest of the conference. They are not viable against... They're not. The Thunder will spank them.
And then the team that you and I are predicting he's going to, the San Antonio Spurs. Mo and I are predicting within the next 2 weeks after the finals... Kevin Durant's going to the Spurs.
You heard it on this show, guys. It is happening. Within the next 2 weeks, Kevin Durant will be traded to the Spurs. That's very much going to happen. We're giving you all these details about all these other players, all these other teams, but, like, he's going to the Spurs.
No, I think it's a no-brainer. I think he's going to the Spurs, absolutely. They have so much young talent they can give up. They have nothing but draft picks to give up.
Yeah.
They can give up everything for him. And I think they're going to land him. I think it's going to be Fox, Wemby, Kevin Durant, go from there, and they're going to compete in the West.
Imagine this. Phoenix, they want the Houston trade because they get draft capital back, but then their own draft capital back. But I think they want the Spurs because guess what? Phoenix gets to really rebuild their team. If the Spurs give them the second overall pick, that's the best trade undisputedly for the Phoenix Suns. They can completely rebuild their team. So it's the best trade for both sides. And I think it's going to happen. The only thing that's going to prevent it is Giannis. What the fuck is going to happen to Giannis?
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of valid, though. Like,
yeah,
that is true. If Kevin Durant doesn't go to the Spurs, then Giannis is going to the Spurs.
Yeah,
I mean, it's simple. I mean, then Giannis is going to the Spurs. Giannis is going west, dude, if KD doesn't go there.
But I'm just under the impression it's too aggressive. Because they already had to trade a lot of shit to get De'Aaron Fox. Are they going to trade the house to get Giannis too? I actually don't think they're going to. I think the Spurs are pragmatic.
I just think the Spurs have too much good young talent on their team that they can give up that helps Phoenix like rebuild, stay not really relevant. They're just going to rebuild with this young talent, and you offload his contract. You get good young talent, and then the Spurs immediately elevate to me. I mean, assuming Wemby's healthy, like that team, they're going to be a force.
Yeah. Assuming Wemby's healthy. With Fox, let alone just those two.
I mean, you got 3 All-Stars. You got 3 All-Stars in your team.
Let alone just those two. The pick and roll between them is crazy, but let alone those two with a bunch of good players is amazing. But
I also think his fit on the Spurs is like perfect. The floor is going to be spread perfectly, and I think he'll just fucking eat. He'll eat. Him and Wemby are going to eat on that team. How do you even plan to cover both those guys?
I don't know.
It don't work.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. And the thing is, if the Spurs are intelligent, they go pick up a proper 5. So they have someone actually play the 5. They have Wemby play the 4. They have KD play the 3. You're going to be fucking huge. You can shoot the ball. You can switch on the court. Yeah, they're going to be hellacious. And then De'Aaron Fox is going to be running the backcourt. It's a hellacious situation. And for the Spurs, it's more sensible for their timeline. The Spurs are a pragmatic franchise. It's against their will to go for Giannis and trade out everything in their haul. They just don't. That's not how they operate.
I mean, true, and then you think about it too. It's like, all right, you have to give up the 2 pick. People like don't give up the 2 pick. It's like the 2, 3, 4, 5 and on. Like it's so unknown in this draft. Like there's Harper, Bailey, like all these other guys. Like they should be good NBA talent. We're not. We don't know. I think it's a little unknown, but I think it's a no-brainer for the Spurs to send that trade, and I think that's probably like best value for Phoenix.
If the Spurs can find a way to... The Spurs have been gifted like a perfect situation by the NBA because of the second overall pick, but if the Spurs can find a way to just not trade that pick and still get KD, which I think they can do, I really think Vassell, Sochan, 2 future firsts will be enough to go get KD. I honestly don't think they have to trade this.
I don't know. You might have to throw Castle in there too, though.
No.
Like, you're just trying to tell me Vassell and Sohan and then 2 future firsts for KD?
KD's 37.
But I'm saying, like, Phoenix has openly said they're going to take the best offer on the table. What if Houston comes at you with a flood of picks,
then
and
they'll
they
take
throw
that.
Jabari, and they throw all these players at you? You know what I mean?
I don't think anyone's going to trade 4 first-round picks.
Well, we just saw it with Desmond Bane.
I know, but I don't think anyone's going to trade for KD. KD's an obvious trade target. Bane wasn't on the market. The Magic aggressively traded for Bane. They wanted Bane to fit.
That's valid.
They wanted Bane.
I mean, it's open that yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it's open.
It's
KD's getting
open.
traded.
He's getting traded.
Yeah.
It's open, and he's old, and he's injury prone, and he's got like a year left on his deal. So, 2 first-round picks should be it. Someone's gonna, and honestly, no one's gonna offer more than 2 or 3. But it's going to come down to that. What it's going to come down to the Suns, though, is like if the Spurs say you can have pick 2, they're going to take pick 2. Okay, they're going to rebuild their team. If Miami says we'll give you 3 or 4 first-round picks and overdo it, they'll do that. It's going to come down to who offers the correct amount of picks.
But all in all, predictions in. Kevin Durant, after the finals, within that next 2 weeks, probably before July 1st, he's going to San Antonio.
Yeah, you can check back in this show 2 weeks later. KD's undeniably going to be a San Antonio Spur.
And if we're wrong, just remember, then that means Giannis is going to the Spurs.
Yes, that's...
I mean, that's simple as that.
It's as simple as that, yeah. The NBA has sort of put together a great offseason for the Spurs. They're meant to have a good one.